and welcome to another program, the Overtime Radio Show. A new talent coming in, apparently, from Ed Hellier. I'm not sure. The architect, and, of course, Slick McCarch, Pete Wagner, yours truly. Guys, another program on the air, episode 6, and we've got a good show planned for. We're going to talk about the late Al Pabon, a little Bobby Heenan from your article, Mick. We're going to get back into the Cabana Pier 7 levels. What a night that was in Kansas City. We have a couple of more talent we want to talk about, especially the Paradise match. That's intriguing me with what you were discussing with that one. And then also in that vein to talk about the upcoming card of the 22nd of September. It's great, Ed, because it seems like there's always twists and turns and changes to the lineup and the card.
Well, we talked about this, I think, in the last broadcast that, the thing about Steel Domain that we were known for is we always brought in, some fresh faces. There's a limited pool of talent here in the Twin Cities, good talent, no question about it. But what, kind of set us apart was bringing in the guys from Chicago and some of the guys from Iowa. And so we're committed to do that again. And this show coming up in September, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 fresh faces coming in. And we're going to be putting up some video here in the next few days so you can get acquainted with some of these wrestlers that'll be with us on the 22nd.
Speaking of video, we have, I don't know, you brought me miles and miles of video. You have that show that occurred, the most recent one at Rainbow Play Systems, that features a number of TNA wrestlers that we're looking forward to putting up. Can you give us a little teaser of what to expect on this video?
Well, it's still in the raw form. We never edited it. We just kind of kept it all together. But you're going to see, well, first of all, it's a tremendous crowd. South Dakota was always, just lively and hungry for wrestling. But you're going to see a loaded lineup. We had on that event, we had Christian was there with us. We had AJ Styles. We had Abyss, Rhino. I know I'm forgetting some. Help me out, Mick.
I bet you Dixie Carter was getting a little nervous.
Well, they needed the money.
Oh. What do you mean needed?
Yeah, that was a big budget. We sent them a huge check for all that talent, but it was a great night. But the thing that I remember most is that we packaged this tag team. I'll never forget it. The Bates brothers, and they went up against it was Lynch and Mitch Paradise and Big Daddy Hoofer, and so we needed a wild card. And so we needed a third guy for the Bates brothers, and so we brought in their cousin, Norman Bates, a.k.a. Norman Smiley, and the roof blew off. I've never seen anybody get a reaction, especially Norman. I mean, I love him. He's a great guy, but he was pretty much, in the middle most of the time. And at the end of that night, nobody asked. I mean, it was interesting. Nobody asked about AJ or Christian or anything. They want to know about the Bates brothers. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, of course I do. And the Bates brothers cut that tremendous promo.
Oh my God!
Just fabulous before.
Can I get my hands on that promo?
That goes right up with Flair and Heenan. I think
oh.
They're in the same category.
These two guys, I'm telling you, they would put you to sleep in a heartbeat. But talking about
the match was really good.
The match was good.
The match was great.
Norman Smiley had been there once before at the Brookings show, and when we brought him back, like Ed was saying, as the surprise cousin of the Bates brothers, cousins from different mothers and different families and zip codes and everything else, you would have thought Hulk Hogan walked into the building. And
I think we post that match first, then, from what I'm hearing.
You know what? Working with Norman too, Ed alluded to the fact that Norman is such a great guy. He is a delight to work with. Come in, what do you want from me tonight, fellas? Good to see you. Boom, boom, boom. Does his job and out. He's fabulous.
And, the other thing too that was the opening of that show was Lynch, classic Lynch. I mean, he set the whole thing up so well. There's very few people that I've seen, at least on the independent scene, that have that natural ability, and I'll never forget that he's standing out there with Paradise and Hoofer, and he's kind of calling the shots as how this match was going to go, and then Norman comes in and he's hightailing it to the back. It was really good.
Adrian Lynch is a ring general, and from what I understand, he's kind of hung up the tights for the most part, so I don't know if we'll be seeing him wrestling on any Steel Domain shows.
Yeah, that disappoints yours truly.
You know what? I have a feeling, though, knowing Adrian Lynch, he won't be able to stay away for too long.
Do you ever really hang him up, though? I mean, look at this business. It seems like guys take it till they can't move, really.
Ric Flair.
Oh.
Well, let's call a spade a spade. I love Ric Flair, one of the greatest that ever lived, but I think when he had his retirement send-off with the WWE, that might have been it. That should have been it.
Well, and to critically speak, I guess the shtick, we've seen it for so long, and now times 10. When you see it over and over, it kind of becomes disappointing because the last thing you saw is the first thing you think of, and I want to think of that cage match against Harley Race in '81, not now, personally.
In all the years that you watched Ric Flair, did he ever connect on anything from the top rope?
I will say this. You had about a 1 in 5 chance between 1981 and 84. Post 84, never.
Okay.
I think Matt Classic probably has a better record off the top rope than Flair. And he doesn't go up there very often.
You mean the guy that wears his tights as a necktie?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the over-under on the weight when he gets up to the top rope for the guy to scrape himself and go with the slam?
Oh, boy.
Is that a solid 7-second?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Okay, all right. So now we got that covered. We're good.
For all of you who are concerned about
yeah, really,
that.
that's important radio stuff. Yeah. Let's get into our show rundown here. You guys brought up Al Pavon, who's been very involved or was very involved, and it's been a year since his passing. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think. Well, personally. As a friend, we lost a great one in Al Pavon. I mean, Steel Domain Wrestling, he did a lot of stuff for us. He was just one of those guys. It didn't matter, he just, whatever the circumstances were, he wanted to show up and do whatever he could. And there's some good Al Pavon stories, but it's kind of sad that when you lose a friend like that, especially at a young age, you kind of think back, was there something that we missed, but Mick, you and I reached out to him towards the end there, and he was kind of, like a lot of folks. I mean, shoot, it's no secret, he was unemployed for a stretch of time there, and that can weigh hard on a guy. And I know you and I had some good conversations from him. So, I feel good about that. I think I talked to him on the phone while he was down in Louisville. But, you can look at Al's, the way he left us. He was doing what he really loved more than wrestling, and that was working with the Civil Air Patrol. He was down on a 2-month deal, and he went down there, pretty much as a volunteer. I know he was getting, room and board and that type of thing. But I'll tell you, if there was anything that Al loved more than professional wrestling, it was the Civil Air Patrol.
I got to say, to the masses, who's Al Pavon? To the general wrestling public. But I got to tell you, to those of us here in the Twin Cities wrestling community, Al Pavon was everything for 15, 20 years. I mean, this guy literally would schlep the equipment to the matches. Even if he had to take a $35, $40 taxi cab ride, he would be there. He would set up, he would tear down, he would film, he would do everything, and then he'd spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in the studio putting this footage together for no thanks. I mean, I got to say that. I mean, people appreciated Al, but they didn't tell him. And Ed and I know for a fact that Al, he was kind of bitter towards the end, that he felt maybe he didn't get his just due. There's a lot of unsung heroes in the wrestling business, Pete. A lot of people behind the scenes. I don't care if they're putting TV together or setting up the ring or whatever they're doing. And Al Pavon was one of those guys, and most of all, he was a dear, dear friend, and we miss him greatly. And what I'm really sad about is now Steel Domain and Steel Radio, it's all taken off, and Al would have been in his glory right now, and he just checked out a little too early.
What is it about the culture of the Al Pavons of the world and the wrestling? You mentioned about getting the ring set up and all of that. Why does it seem that this industry, more than any others, has such a passionate crew of people willing to do what they have to get the show executed?
It's interesting that you say that, too, because, again, the world of professional wrestling has this stigma. Oh, wrestling.
Yeah.
But you know what? it's a family, and whether you're the ring guy or whatever you do, the TV production guy, once you get immersed in the business, and Bockwinkel calls it a sickness,
Which I love.
but once you get immersed in the business, you become family, and it almost becomes a social circle, and the passion is beyond imagination.
You explained it very well, Mick, and you know, I was thinking, you know, why are the three of us sitting here?
Yeah, you're right.
And we got Jen Fritz sitting over in the corner with pencil and paper taking notes. She's been doing all the stuff on the website and Facebook and social media, and it's because people just, you know, they love professional wrestling, but I think you touched on it. We're kind of reviled by some, and when that happens, we stick closer together.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting, but you know what we have to, before we end the segment on Al Pabon, there's some good stories out there. I'm picturing one right now. I want to say it was probably January. We're over in West St. Paul. We're setting up. And I'm outside, and here comes this four-seater compact car. I don't know who was driving. You were in the front seat. I mean, it was, I don't even think it was a Toyota whatever, Corolla. It was a very small subcompact car.
Chevy Chevette.
And Al, as everyone knows, he was a big fella.
Yes, he
you know.
was. Yeah.
And I see Al sitting in the back seat of this car, and there's cameras stacked up on top of him, and tripods, and microphones, and cables, and all I see is this head, you know, of Al Pabon, and he gets out of that car, and he's carrying all that stuff, and I'll never forget that. That's just one of those, you know, pictures in your mind that you just don't forget. And I know, Mick, you got some better ones than that.
Well, I'll tell you about Al, and again, we'll move on here, because I know Al would be embarrassed that we were doing this.
But this is part of giving him his due.
Absolutely it is. There was, and Al did this more than once, but I remember one particular show was in Barron, Wisconsin, and I forget who promoted the show, Midwest Pro Wrestling, I think. And, you know, so we're out there and we're doing the show and, you know, everything else, and blah, 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 blah. We're getting set up, and people are setting up microphones and what have you. We're all set to go. Well, the only thing that was missing, as I found out, as I'm sitting there ready to ring the bell for match one, I get a little tap on the shoulder. It's Al. Excuse me, sir. That's Al, we're about ready to go. I forgot to bring the microphone, sir. So, not that this isn't the first or last time that this will happen, but here we made the drive to Barron, Wisconsin, and we had to do TV, and the only thing we didn't have was microphones. Another time at the...
How did you execute?
I almost executed Al.
Okay.
But it was the old magic of voiceover. We wound up doing that. Another time, there's a show at George's in Fridley, and I'm screaming my lungs out for this show, and I forget if Sheik Adnan Casey was on the show or whoever, but I'm just putting this show over, screaming, hollering for 2.5, 3 hours. At the end of the show, I'm sitting there in this pile of sweat, and Al Pabon again. Excuse me, sir. Yes. We apparently had a technical problem, sir. Well, what was that? Well, the microphones weren't working tonight, sir. And this is so, and, you know, it's like, okay, Al, why didn't you tell me this 10 minutes into the show, you know? But that was what endeared Al Pabon to people. He was so great at what he did, but every once in a while he would have these lapses, but we loved him for it, and we miss him a lot.
Well, you know, not having never met Al, I have a pretty good idea of the level and the depth of that with what you spoke of. So, one more item.
No, I think we're good to go. I know the
architect.
The architect is
look at him. He's all smiles.
The architect. I think he has a conference call. Tokyo, China, wherever it is. And the man dropped his keys. We're doing a podcast. We'll keep her going.
Okay. Let's move on to the upcoming card. Added to the card coming down from the Great White North is going to be Zach Murphy. And
Mercury.
I'm sorry. I can't even read my own writing. Look at that.
What are you writing prescriptions?
Yeah. what, do you want one? It would pretty
More
much
than one.
Zach Mercury is going to be coming down from the Great White North, and he'll be taking on Mitch Paradise. Apparently, those two have a history.
They do, and what's interesting about this match is that Mitch is usually so much bigger and so much stronger than the guy that he's in the ring with, because Mitch goes in at about 6'5", 6'6", 270. Well, Mercury is every bit of that and then some, and he's really put together. I've seen him wrestle as a crowd favorite, as not so favored. Intriguing matchup. I think this may be a time where Mitch doesn't waltz through like a hot knife through butter.
A couple things on Paradise that I want to ask is I watched him take on Honky at the Hopkins Pavilion, and if I were in the stands, he's my guy. Do you think he has the ability to, like I refer to the Hulk Hogan? You know, what if there were a couple of handicap matches of complete destruction where he becomes a crowd favorite? Does he have that capability?
He does. Well, Mitch was a crowd favorite. That's how he started in the business for many, many years. And then I don't know what switch turned on or turned off, but all of a sudden, Mitch decided to throw the rule book out the window. He's such an enigma, Mitch, because he's so talented and he's so captivating when he gets into that ring.
I know.
Especially in this persona. And yet, I don't know if the call hasn't come from the big boys or if it has come and Mitch just isn't interested. But I've never understood why he hasn't made it big on the national stage.
I liked everything I saw, and I'm no talent scout, but apparently if you watch this stuff enough, you have a clue. And I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think it's going to be a beauty. What a card. You have those two going, Cabana, Davari.
We got to talk about Cabana a little bit, too, because as we speak, and, through the magic of wrestling and radio and everything else, we don't know what's going to happen. But Cabana is now the former NWA heavyweight champion. Yep. And our new champ is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. They do have that best-of-7 series continuing, so we don't know whether Cabana's going to be coming in as the champion when he wrestles Arya Davari or not. Either way, this matchup to me is one of the best, on paper at least, in the Twin Cities in a long time.
It certainly is, and I think from Cabana's perspective, it matches size and power, and he can bring a finesse style to the ring. Against, really, when you look at Davari, that guy is he's as solid of an executor as we're going to see in Steel the Main Wrestling. Not the thickest, biggest of guy, but well-conditioned. He is designed to go deep into a match, no question. And I think the longer it goes, clearly he wins the condition. I'm not saying that Cabana's not, but this guy is aerobic in his conditioning.
He absolutely is. And, we've talked before, his brother Sean Davari, of course, has made a big splash in the wrestling world all over the country, TNA, WWE, wherever he's been all over the world. And this is not to denigrate Sean Davari at all. I think Arya is every bit as good, and he's younger. His future is all ahead of him. It looks real bright. This kid has everything, and we're lucky to have him right here. He ain't going to be here long.
I know, I've said it before on these shows, and I shouldn't say it because you give people ideas, but I'm shocked that he's even around. That's how much I think of his ability.
If it's the history of Steel Domain continues as it has, he'll go too. Punk, Cabana, Pierce. They all wind up taking that big move, and all of a sudden, hey, I remember I saw that guy at West St. Paul. Well, you know what, people? Don't miss the opportunity. Come out and see him while they're here.
It's almost like watching Henry Aaron when he played for the Millers.
Right, absolutely.
Hear a lot of people from that era saying, we saw Hank working it down at Nicollet Park regularly. Sure. Same thing here. Are we calling it the minor leagues? Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but I refer to, we've gone through this. If you want to get to the specifics of volume of viewers, of TV contracts, sure. If you want to talk about execution at a card and talk about talent and what we've discussed, absolutely big leagues. Yeah. So you get I think you get a little bit of a mix of both. But what I like about what Steel the Main presents is you really do give the fan an opportunity to get close to the action. and be really a part of it. No longer are you sitting in the upper deck of the sprawling former St. Paul Civic Center where you're just looking at a couple of specs just to see what happens. Now it's more about you're interacting, and I love our seating idea of what's going to be executed with the seats inside the steel railing. The architect, he works in the insurance world, but he must have something pretty special laid out because I wouldn't want that liability.
Well, it's interesting.
Would you?
No, absolutely not. And think back to the Hopkins card when he himself almost lost his life sitting inside. Now he's putting fans in there with him.
Just everyday people.
Is it like a human shield? That's what he's doing.
For himself.
Of course it is.
For the fortune.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Ethan is rubbing his hands. I
can't wait to see this one.
Ready to go.
But it is quite frankly unprecedented. What's going to happen with those seats? We think there's going to be between 60 and 75. We'll have to count them out as they string around. And when they do go on sale, I do know that you want to get those right away because I know of a group that's interested in getting them. They're talking about it. They want to do it as a work outing.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
and that's a limited number of tickets again.
They'll do it, but I'm not trying to put the Gene Okerlund pressure, run, don't walk.
Right.
But there is some definite interest in that. I also do know that there were a lot of people talking from the Hopkins card about who missed this one, who are looking forward to coming to the 22nd card as well.
Remember, West St. Paul is not as big as the Hopkins Pavilion.
Absolutely.
You've got maybe 350 seats in there, and if you're assuming I'll go down there night of the show and get a ticket, don't bet on it.
Or you better get early.
Yeah, the Steel Domain train is rolling right now, and don't just assume that you're going to go there last minute and get a seat.
Depth of this card is terrific from top to bottom. We went over it on our last show. We don't need to beat a dead horse. We are going to have the video of the other guys coming in, Sanchez, Dugan, and others like that. Probably Mercury as well.
There you go.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
read my writing.
And the Hallbergs.
Oh,
the Hallbergs
wow.
are show.
That is, what do we have? What's going on with that? We've got a video coming up where he's just getting worked.
I've heard several options, possibilities for this show. I know that Miss Natural will become, oh, man.
Don't even get me going. Have you seen her promo picture?
I've seen it. Have I seen it? I got my house wallpapered.
Well, I'm not surprised.
But some way or other.
As long as you didn't wallpaper the ceiling, we're okay.
Don't worry about that. Don't be talking about my ceiling. Heather Hallberg and her husband, whatever he is, Jeremy Hallberg, will be making their way to the Twin Cities, to West St. Paul. One way or another, they'll be in the ring with Miss Natural. I don't want to sound sexist out here, and I don't want to call a guy handpicked, but he's handpicked. This is awful, the way she treats this guy.
The problem is he lives the life that most men do. The problem is it's public.
Wait a minute. Wait a second.
I'm divorced. I can say it.
I am too.
Why do you think I am?
But I'm still alive. Let's not. Oh,
look,
man.
You had nothing to do with that comment.
Absolutely not. Nope. The opinions expressed. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, I've never seen you tightrope tap dance quicker in my life.
You haven't lived the life I had, pal. Anyway, can we move on?
Well, you have a lovely daughter.
I certainly do.
Blessed from that.
And a wonderful son.
And I have the same son and daughter, blessed from that, and would never question it. Let's just go off on the record.
Would you please move on?
Just messing around with you. Come on.
Good.
Just
choking.
Okay, you wrote a article on Bobby the Brain Heenan that's been posted that I always say I can't wait to read your stuff because it's fantastic. And you bet. And I saw Heenan, Bockwinkel, you, and I thought, oh boy, where's this thing going? And you kind of want to skip ahead but no, was patient with it.
Yeah.
Speechless. The punchline was that good, and that really happened.
It really happened, and we urge people, of course, to read the article right here on the website.
It is awesome.
Where you're listening to us. That's nothing. That is nothing compared to the stories you hear about Bobby Heenan. There are some that obviously I can't say on the air here, but as it comes to photography and photographers, I also had an incident with Bobby Heenan. God bless Bobby. Years ago.
Is this the lens cap story?
It is.
You told that on one of our shows.
Did I already tell
Yeah,
it?
you've already told
Then
that
let's
one.
move on to something else.
That's too bad.
Bobby Heenan.
But he was posing for your camera.
He was.
And
He was.
and Bachwinkle said, "Man, or was it you? I haven't seen you pose for that many pictures." And he goes, "Yeah, the damn lens cap was on, or whatever."
Well, he yelled at me across the ring, "Hey, a-hole, take the lens cap off the camera."
Was this AWA?
It was an AWA show, and I'm clicking away, and I'm happy as a lark, and then he finally yelled, and I saw Nick chuckle.
Did he give you the point, too?
He did. He did everything. And he said, "A-hole, take the lens cap off the camera," and he accused me of being Wally Carbo's illegitimate son. Wally was very offended by that.
Where was this at?
This was at the St. Paul Civic Center.
What card? What was the main event? Bachwinkle Vance?
Bachwinkle Vance.
That is the word. I brought that up again. I cannot. What happened there? Can we go there for a minute?
Sure we can.
Why? Why did that happen?
Well, we have to explain.
It was not 1, 2, but 3 steamrollers.
It was horrible.
Oh.
And Otto Vance, to me, was one of the most overrated slobs I ever saw wrestle, but he was really a major player in Europe. And apparently some money was changing hands back and forth back then, and the AWA decided maybe Otto needed a run with the championship.
For a week?
I believe it was actually 6 weeks. 6 weeks in total. And what was interesting about that, we've talked about, Nick's fans. I had a Bachwinkle fan club convention in town that weekend. And here we're at the St. Paul Civic Center, and everybody's mouth just dropped open. How in the world Nick could drop the title to this
How did he take the 1, 2, 3?
Horrendous.
And in the fashion, did you see the steamroller? I think he missed on 2.
He missed on 2 steamrollers, and it's like a kidney stone.
Was Rod Trongard on play-by-play? He was on that one. And I always thought he did a great job, but you could tell even he was fighting that one back.
Oh, we all were. Everybody was. Everybody in the wrestling industry was fighting that one back. This guy coming out, like he should be with a St. Bernard up in the Swiss Alps. Remember that outfit of his? All he needed was that little, keg of gimmick
around his neck like a St. Bernard. Yeah. I agree.
Horrible.
The irony is, I thought, what were those things the suspender deal? But you know what's the irony of that is, I remember watching that. I was there, and I remember I was in 8th grade. Can you believe that?
I was in my 8th year of my freshman year in college.
Or I thought you were going to say your 8th marriage. Sorry, had to go there again.
Killing me.
But of all of the talent that went through the American Wrestling Association that deserved to wear the title or have the title and have runs, there were so few. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Bachwinkle or Verne, it was nobody.
Right.
Really.
Exactly.
And maybe they gave it to, maybe we saw Hennig step up toward the mid-'80s there, and then, of course, you had to, everybody was fading out. But during the glory days there of the mid-'70s into the early '80s, you have all these guys you could, I think, trust, and you come up with Vance. It just
Ka-ching. That's
bottom
what it
line.
comes down to.
I did my own barrel roll on that. I fell down the aisles.
You know what's interesting about this? Just kind of an insight. I really grumbled. I was so pissed off that night, and the Bachwinkle fans go out to dinner after the show, and I'm just raising the roof. Why did they do this? Blah, 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 blah. Well, 6 weeks later, Nick gets the championship back, of course, and he autographs a picture to me. Apparently, the word had gotten back to him that I was making some noise, and Nick signs the picture to Mick, and he's holding up the championship belt. He says, "I did it just for you."
Did he do it with the Oriental sleeper?
I don't
remember. His wasn't a choke.
No.
Verne's was.
Verne's was blatantly a choke.
Straight across.
Right across that Adam's apple. I'm telling you, Verne would choke people. Worse than the guy that Jen and I saw at McDonald's today choking on his sausage McMuffin.
What happened?
Oh, the man was just, I can't even say.
Did this really happen?
What? I'm in the wrestling business. What, am I working you? This really happened?
No, a guy was choking on his sausage McMuffin?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you go Heimlich?
I don't know what his last name was.
It's Vance.
but you're right. But Nick's hold clearly on the carotid artery, the side of the neck. There was no arm right across the.
So you're saying it's a clean sleeper hold?
Of course it was.
And it was
An
odd.
upstanding guy like Bockwinkel?
One was a fan favorite, one was reviled, and they're just too stupid to figure it out.
Nick and I? Nick,
yeah.
I got you. Okay, got it.
Apparently, you were the reviled one.
Yeah.
So that was a great article. I would highly recommend checking that out.
Just
Absolutely.
one quick more Bobby Heenan story.
Absolutely.
And if I've told this one on the air, I'm sure you'll stop me again and humiliate me. But let me.
I saved you.
Oh, okay, that's good. There used to be a hotel, the Holiday Motor Inn, which was on Highway 55 in Golden Valley here, and it shut
Was
down.
it off 100?
Yes, it was.
Yep, remember it.
It was a hot spot for some of the wrestling matches, the after parties. The boys would show up and go party. And I've told this on my DVD, which I'm down to my last 17,000 copies, just in case people.
Why don't we have that for sale on the store?
Let's do another one, and then
Another. We do need to do that, by the way.
Yes,
Okay.
we do. But anyway, so this I'm going to tell you right now is 1976, 1977, because Bob Orton Jr., Randy Orton's dad,
Yep.
had been wrestling in town that night. All the wrestlers are gathered around, a big crowd here at the after party in the bar area. All of a sudden, we hear this commotion, and I look, and Bob Orton Jr. has a female fan, up on his shoulders in the middle of the bar, and he's giving her an airplane spin. Well, she was, 17 sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
She knew what was going on. And fireman carries her onto the floor, covers her for the pin. Now, this is in the middle of the bar. Oh, my. Bobby Heenan makes his way through the crowd, gets down on all fours. 1, 2, 3. Bobby has now become the referee. He raises Bob Orton's hand, Bob Orton Jr. Everybody gives him a big pop. Everybody cheers. And Bobby Heenan proceeds. This is how apparently he celebrated. Celebrated Bob Orton's victory. He went outside in front of the Holiday Motor Lodge and took a leak on the sidewalk.
Why did I know that's what he's going to do?
Yeah. So, that is the way you celebrate a victory.
Man. And how did she handle the defeat?
I think she's still laying there. I'm not sure. That's it's only 35 years ago or whatever. So she's.
But at least he was gracious to go fireman's carry, not full body splash.
Absolutely.
I mean, he did say he spared her.
Those Ortons.
Good
always
guys.
Sparing.
Aren't they? Fantastic. Cabana Pierce. Pierce apparently has 102 degree temperature. Legit.
Yes.
Battled through the 2 out of 3 match, got through it. I'm surprised he didn't overheat. Reclaims now for the 5th time, or is it 6th?
I believe it's 5.
I'm losing track.
Yeah.
Always becoming the new Flair. The NWA Heavyweight Championship of the World. In what was the promo afterwards was, you've never seen a guy, in my opinion, this is my take, more comfortable being a champion than him.
Yes.
I mean, he's just right back at home.
He took that picture of the championship belt that he put in his crib. He put it in his baby's crib. And he set the NWA title up with little toys and pillows alongside. And I think he said, "Sleep well, my baby," or something
Yeah, it's
like that.
unbelievable.
Adam Pearce, again, to people who think that wrestling is only on the national stage and it's only John Cena and, whoever else, Adam Pearce is as good a heel as there is in wrestling. I mean, you know it. You know what he delivered with.
Just laughing right now thinking about it. He's so good.
He's amazing.
I've watched the match that we have posted. By the way, the audio issues are a back end issue, which will be corrected on the video. But you get the point by seeing it on the site here. But what I find incredible is it's easy to be a heel when you have millions of fans that watch the storyline evolve. Mm-hmm. When you have a house show at the Hopkins Pavilion, West St. Paul Armory, and it's people that don't really know who the heel, or some do, obviously,
Sure, yeah.
some don't. But a majority of the people in the building didn't know, and immediately he sells them on the heel factor. That's art, and that is well done.
When Adam Pearce walks through that curtain, He's got that glare. He's got that disdainful look.
He's just a dick.
I absolutely looking up and down the crowd. And I tell you another thing about Adam Pearce, and I don't know if this is a positive or a negative. When Adam gets into heel mode, don't screw with him. I mean, if you're a fan
Or an announcer.
or
the architect.
although that was amusing, but seriously, I mean, he kind of reminds me of Bruiser Brody in the sense that he can be sitting in the locker room in one way and just mild-mannered and calm and collected, but boy, you turn on that music.
Yeah, the switch.
Boom.
Yeah,
switch. Yeah,
definitely. You definitely get a feeling that he goes there.
Yeah.
And he enjoys going there. And being a baby will never work for that man.
The flip side of that is Colt Cabana. I mean, talk about a guy who loves what he's doing. You see him in that ring, and he's going through those gyrations, and he's going through. This guy absolutely loves being on top of the wrestling world. Great guy in the ring and out of the ring. Great talent. We got some stuff going here, buddy.
While we have him heading up our card, we'll soon find out if he's still the champion. The 7 levels, do we know what the end date for that is?
I thought it was late fall.
Okay, so that'll still be ongoing.
Yeah,
okay.
It'll be ongoing.
And their next one comes up on the 18th of August back in New England Championship Wrestling, which features the dog collar match.
Oh, boy.
I think the Pitbull and Adam Pearce, now that he's got that one, how many times have we seen, let's take the Stanley Cup, for example. The Devils were down 3-0. They win to scrape one out just like Pearce did. And then they go on and win Game 5 to make it 3-2. Now it gets a little bit interesting. But I think the manner in which Pearce won, you had to win not 1 but 2 matches, best of 3. Yeah. So he was able to capture 2 matches. And I think that's a little bit of a confidence booster for him. He's got to take it 1 match, 1 minute, 1 strap at a time. And, boy, this should be – I want to see this.
Well, he's down 3-1, as you said now, and back against the wall. The difference between pro wrestling and the Stanley Cup, obviously, your back's against a wall, but it's 3 seconds that we're talking about now, where all of a sudden your career
Not
is over.
60 minutes.
Not 60 minutes. But if anybody can do it, it's Adam Pearce, and – for some reason, I see a dog collar match as right up his alley.
I do, too.
I don't know if anybody has ever seen a dog collar match. If you haven't, check out Greg Valentine and Roddy Piper sometime. They had a dog collar match that is legendary in pro wrestling. It's vicious. It's brutal. I wish we had that one here, to be honest with you. I'd love to see it.
When can you collectively think of, when was the last real dog collar match that we've seen? I can't even think of it.
I can. It was you and I standing in line at the Old Country Buffet. Don't you remember?
And it was a battle over who was going first because you wanted to get the Salisbury steak.
I did. And by the way, the steak didn't taste good that day either.
And so the fact that you won, I
lost.
You lost.
I
Absolutely.
Lost, yeah.
Is that the story of our lives?
Wasn't that something to remember? That salad flying all over the place.
Absolutely.
And you threw that Coke, that glass of Coke at that poor lady.
It put the new definition of food fight to another level.
It did.
Did it?
Wow.
Well, take the show to a new level too. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Well, so okay. On that note, so long, everybody. So we will wrap it up. We're about 40 minutes in on this. Can you believe it's been a 40-minute show?
Hello?
Yeah.
I dozed
absolutely.
off at about the 32-minute mark.
Well, if you're still with us, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
No, actually, looking forward to this 22nd card, and we're working on getting a lot of video updated. Like I said, we've got a mile of video here, and getting the actual footage edited and put up is going to take a little bit of time. But once we get a little rhythm and flow going with this, it's going to be very rock solid from that perspective. And you know what I just realized I forgot? I forgot something.
What'd you forget?
I forgot your plaque.
You bastard.
Can you believe it?
You forgot my plaque.
I
Have you
did.
touched it? Have you touched my plaque?
I might have.
Were you wearing gloves at the time?
I think I look at it every night.
What about my plaque?
I do put the I put jeez. I put the I'm just not going there.
Bring up the wives again while you're at it.
You're trying to pay me back, aren't you? No, check that the ex-wives. It's like the 6 wives of Mick Karsh the Eighth.
I don't know what's longer, my list of meds or list of ex-wives. Oh man. When are we going to go to 50 minutes? Or are you going to shut her off here?
Yeah, it's going to be 10 minutes of laughing.
You know what's
Oh,
terrific, though?
God.
You notice how smoothly this went?
I
The
know.
architect got out of here.
We got the architect out of here. We were flowing in transition. Get a couple of announcers going. It's great.
Sweet,
Look at that. Just chirp the architect
Got
right
it.
now. Hey, how's that conference call coming?
Yeah. Insurance.
There's, God, the crickets are dialed in right now.
There's an
full-fledged.
exciting guy. Let's just shoot on him. We better get out of here.
Was he on time today?
No, he was
He
late.
was late.
He was late. The man
He was late.
Fashionably
I asked
late.
him. I wanted to chirp him, but I'm too scared of the architect
I'm
right
not.
now. I know. We were walking into the front of the building, and Mick says, "Oh, hell with him. Just tell him he's late. Just screw with him." I go, and then you say, "You would have been late for Okerlund."
The architect, ladies and
He
gentlemen.
was the last one
He
here.
was the last one here.
But
And then he couldn't even stick around.
Oh, I know. He had the
What is
audacity.
this, a hobby to him?
Oh, yeah.
This is the real deal to us.
Well, and the payroll is so high too. We're just
Hello?
hello caller.
Hello?
You're
Hello?
He went K-fan on us. Hello.
That it? Can I go now?
Absolutely. Well, we got to get an hour out of you to get your hours worth of work here. So we got to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Listen, don't tell me nothing.
Oh no, he's back!
Wally!
Listen,
You said you were so pissed off at me that you weren't coming back.
I'm going to make a statement to you, Freddie, and I'm going to make
Fast, Freddie, to
it,
you.
whatever it is, with whoever you are, take that microphone headset out of you, just put it right up.
I don't have my hat on today.
You don't?
No.
I thought that was an igloo.
No, it's a yarmulke.
Listen.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, wait a minute. Wally.
Mick, would you get him, please?
Wally, come back.
Give me that thing. Okay. Make one more statement to you, and I don't want you to forget this. You take this with you for as long as you shall live.
What?
I forgot.
That's what. Oh my gosh.
Have the hell out of this joint.
Wally will be back. Believe me, I think he'll be back. Oh, watch out for that chair. It might jump out and bite you. You? Mick, we got to get you back into the fold here. Well, I think I've found a way to offend just about every race, creed, and sex here.
You've gone just about after everybody. Anybody we haven't...
Well, if anybody wants to shut it down, get your own damn site.
Wow. Once again, the opinions expressed.
Absolutely. That's going to do it here for Steel Radio. Mick Karsh and on a conference call, the architect Ed Hellier doing business. Unbelievable. I'm Pete Wagner. So long, everybody.